Hey y'all, it's Tim Miller from the Bulwark. We've been doing this thing where we're bringing in politicians kind of catch my eye who are in interesting campaigns ahead of the November election. So we've got another one for you today. Whitney Fox, she's running in Florida 13, which is kind of the Tampa-St. Pete area. It's a Republican district right now being represented by one of the more MAGA members of Congress, Paulina Luna, friend of Matt Gaetz. And a recent poll had Whitney Fox beating her. And so I was like, well, we got to talk about this race. So Whitney, welcome to the Bulwark.
Thanks so much for having me, Tim. Really appreciate being here.
Hey, happy to do it. Tell us a little bit about yourself and this race and your background.
Sure. Well, I was born and raised right here in the Tampa Bay area, and now I'm raising two little girls of my own. And most recently, I've been working for our public transportation system here in Pinellas County. I was the director of communications and marketing, but also worked on legislative priorities, working with our local, state, and federal Democrats and Republicans to actually get things done for our district, move projects forward. And having two little girls of my own, it really was having my first baby that lit a fire in me to decide to run for office. I just remember holding my newborn as my husband opened up the medical bills. And I thought, what are we doing? The medical bills, the lack of paid parental leave, the lack of affordable childcare. It really struck me that this can't possibly be the way that we are starting off families in America, in a ditch for them to climb out of. So that, coupled with the fact that now my two little girls are growing up with fewer rights than I did, I decided I had to stand up and do something about it. And like you just mentioned, Tim, our current representative, Paulina Luna, is one of the most extreme members of Congress. And this is not an extreme district. This is a pragmatic district of moderate voters, and they are eager for new leadership.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, are there areas where you see yourself potentially as, wanting to compromise or kind of issues or topics that kind of jump out as things you'd want to focus on if you won in Congress?
Absolutely. Well, obviously I'm running as a Democrat, but I tell people I'm running as a Democrat who's willing to work with Republicans to actually get things done. And that's what we deserve. So I've been endorsed by groups like the Welcome Pack and also Blue Dogs as well, because they see that I'm running a campaign that's really welcoming to everyone. And we have many Republicans here in the district who see Paulina Luna as not representing their values because of how far right extreme she is. Now, there are issues that are important to voters in my district, like immigration, and I support immigration reform and agree that we need to secure our border. So there are issues like that obviously I'm willing to talk to the voters and understand what their concerns are and make sure that we can go to DC and actually work with each other to move progress forward on these different issues.
This is an interesting concept, working with Republicans on issues, because on the flip side, your opponent got some attention earlier this year by putting forth a demand that we arrest the Attorney General, Merrick Garland. That's what she was doing up in Congress. Talk to us about
one
that.
of the things, yes. And I believe she spent months on that issue to call for the arrest of Merrick Garland. And that's just it, Tim. Our district, the voters here, they see that she's done nothing but cause chaos during her time in DC. She's just chasing culture war headlines. I mean, she was a social media influencer before she ran for office, and that's just what she's doing.
Okay, hold on. Now let's not start insulting social media influencers. Okay, we're doing okay. I'm doing okay. I'm just joking. Yeah. Not exactly
Yes.
not exactly kind of the basis that generally you'd want for public servants.
Sure. No. Well, my point by saying that is just that's all she knows how to do while she's in DC is where can I get the media attention? Where can I get the attention online? And what can I do, like calling to have Merrick Garland arrested, that's going to get this attention? So, I mean, she threatens to shut down the government any chance she gets. She tried to have Adam Schiff censured. I mean, we see her just constantly doing things in DC that are not affecting the day-to-day lives of the people here in the district. And when I'm going door to door talking to voters, when I ask them what issue is top of mind for you, what do you care about? What they don't tell me is I would like to have Merrick Garland arrested. But they're talking to me about the affordability crisis, housing, Home insurance here in Florida is a huge issue, and they're concerned about this attack on our reproductive freedoms. I mean, there are many seniors here in this district who are becoming homeless because they're on a fixed income and they can't afford the rising costs of living. So we have serious issues that need to be addressed here in the district, and she is nowhere to be found. She has never held a town hall. She's not talking to the voters here. She's hardly ever in the district itself. So they're eager for someone who's actually going to go to DC and work for them.
It's interesting she's never had a town hall because all those Republicans are shouting at Kamala Harris about not taking enough questions. She's very MAGA, right? And I just wonder, like, as you talk to, like, we're never Trumpers here at the Bulwark. Many of us used to be Republicans. They're not all of us. And so there are these kind of traditional Republicans that see this difference. I mean, Anna Paulina, she's pictured in a MAGA swimsuit. You know, she's got herself with all of the different AR-15 guns and the pictures. I mean, she's like looks to Matt Gaetz as kind of her congressional model. I mean, like, there has to be a way to kind of wedge like her culture war MAGA priorities from, you know, some of these voters that are just more about, you know, wanting smaller government or traditional values or things of that nature.
Well, you're also forgetting there, Tim, that she wrote a children's book about how the 2020 election was stolen. So, yes,
I did. I'll have to track that one down for my first grader. We haven't made it to that in the library yet.
Oh gosh, no.
You can't have it. I'm sure in the Pinellas schools, you don't want to have the book where the penguins, where the gay penguins have a child. You don't want to have that book. We got to get that out of the school and replace it with Anna Paulina's children's book about election fraud, I guess.
Right. Well, I wish I could. I mean, you can't write this stuff. I'm not making this up. It's a book for children about an orange and a banana who are running a foot race. You got it.
Okay.
You're quick, Tim. And they're running a foot race, and the banana cheats to win the race. So it's quite alarming. But I mean, you're spot on, Tim. That's the thing. In our district, we have, like I said, this is not a Matt Gaetz district. It's an R+6 district. A third of our voters are independents. And we know that we've got, a chance here of defeating Anna Paulina Luna because we're concentrating on the issues and we're listening to the voters of what matters to them. And we're putting plans together to make sure we can address those issues once elected to Congress. But to your point, I'm not running for office because she's a Republican. I'm running because she is so extreme in her stances on the issues. And as you're probably familiar with the Heritage Foundation, who's behind Project 2025, and they give ratings to members of Congress, and the average rating for a Republican is 75%. Luna has gotten a rating of 98%, one of the highest of any member of Congress. So it's really does not align with the values that we have here in the district. And there was a recent article, actually, a few weeks ago in the New York Times about our race. And there were multiple Republicans from the district who were interviewed for that article. And they spoke about the fact that, they are putting, country over party by not supporting her because she has done nothing for the people here.
So on the gun thing in particular, this is something we've been talking about around here. Obviously, there was a school shooting last week in Georgia. After the Parkland shooting in Florida, actually the parties worked together to put some pretty real reforms in place as far as red flag laws, things of that nature. I was at a Gaetz event. I was covering it a couple months ago at a gun shop up in the Panhandle, and they were talking about now how they're trying to repeal those reforms and put constitutional carry in and things of this nature. And so for a district like yours, like, is there a way for, Democrats are sometimes scared to talk about this issue. Is there a way to talk about guns that you think can kind of address the problem and reach out to the big middle of the country without necessarily, talking about gun grabbing or whatever?
Right. Well, and I think it's just really pointing out to the voters that no one's trying to take away anyone's guns. And that is obviously a fear mongering that people like Anna Paulina Luna will say. And to your point, talking about this awful, another mass shooting that just happened. I mean, you probably know that Anna Paulina Luna wore an AR-15 lapel pin on the House floor just days after a shooting. So the way we talk about it is how we talk about everything with Anna Paulina Luna, is that she's so out of touch with this district and so extreme on these types of issues. And obviously the fact that we just believe that we should check and make sure that nobody has a history of violence before they're allowed to have access to a gun. And the majority of voters agree with that. So when we're talking about these issues, we're making it clear, let's talk about the actual truth of what we're talking about with policy versus the rhetoric that someone like Luna is going to say because I'm a Democrat.
Yeah. It is debate week, and so since you're talking to swing voters in that district, Florida's probably not going to be a swing state for Kamala Harris. But the types of people you're talking to in Tampa are similar to the types of people she's going to have to try to reach in Charlotte and Atlanta and these other swing states. Any advice, any thoughts going into the debate?
I think for anyone who's running for office, it's just concentrating on the issues and what the plan is to make sure that you are addressing the different issues and policies that people care about. I think that staying away from any of the culture war conversations is really what I'm hearing is what the voters want to see. So that's why we're doing so well in our race, is because that seems to be all that Luna wants to talk about. But they're really attracted to this campaign and my candidacy because I'm listening to the issues they care about. And we're actually talking about and staying focused on the issues that are going to better their day-to-day lives.
All right, Whitney Fox, anything else? Any fun stories? Any Florida man stories for us from the trail or other anecdotes you want to leave people with?
Well, I'll leave you with one story. I usually wear my name tag or a Whitney Fox for Congress logo whenever I leave the house. I definitely make sure I have something on. And I went to meet a friend of mine a few months back outside of the district in Tampa. We went to Rocco's Tacos for taco happy hour, and we bellied up to the bar for our tacos. And there was an older couple sitting next to me, and they looked at my name tag and they said, "Are you Whitney Fox running for Congress?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And they just so happened to live in my district over here in Pinellas County. So we were talking about the issues, and the husband said to me, I volunteered for a campaign once before. I canvassed for Ron DeSantis. And I said, well, good for you. We should all volunteer for something we believe in. But the wife was asking me questions about why I decided to run. We're talking about our reproductive rights. We're talking about my children, showing her pictures of my girl. She's showing me pictures of her grandkids. And when they finished their meal and went to leave, the husband said goodbye and walked a little bit ahead. But the wife stayed behind, and she leaned over to me and she said, "I just want you to know I'll be looking for your name on the ballot this November." And this is how we're going to win, is we're having honest conversations with people to hear what issues they care about and just being authentic and telling them how we plan to address them. So we're feeling incredibly optimistic about this race, and especially the fact that it's the most competitive congressional race in the state of Florida.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight one. Good luck out there. Get back on the trail. Thanks for spending some time with us. And, one fewer AR-15 lapel pin in Congress in 2025 would be something I think we could all get behind. So thanks a bunch. Whitney Fox, it's Florida 13. Folks who want to support her campaign, you can go check out her website. We'll put it in the show notes here. And we'll be back soon. Make sure to subscribe to the feed. Thanks.